Hi, welcome to the Diverse Ed Associate Video Gallery, an opportunity for you to get to know the team, especially if you've not heard us speak before. My name is Hannah Wilson. I'm the co-founder and director of Diverse Educators, and it's great that you're here finding out a little bit more about who we are and what we do. So who am I? I spent 20 years teaching English, drama and media studies in mainstream state schools. In my last year of headship, I was executive head of a primary school as well. My executive headship was of two startup schools, so my headship experience was a little bit different perhaps from some of my peers, where I was the founding head teacher of two new communities. So I had to recruit all of the staff, all the stakeholders, all the governors, and create quite a lot of the documentation, curriculum and policy from scratch. And it gave us an opportunity to really think about centering DEIB work within everything that we were creating. What did I do before that? I spent most of my career working in maths, and I had different roles within schools, but in across math kind of roles, leading on CPD, leading on safeguarding, leading on different like cross-curricular threads and strands across groups of schools from like 25 to 45. And that was a great way to network and to see different ways of leading, I guess, across the system. How did I come to this work? So I am the co-founder of Women Ed as well. So as I was moving up the ladder to senior leadership, it became less and less representative of women, and we're a female-heavy profession. So I found myself in quite a few male-heavy, male-majority spaces. And it led me to thinking about where my role models were and where my networking opportunities were with sort of like serving female leaders. So I joined Twitter, I joined Staffroom, I started blogging and talking about gender equality and female empowerment, and it led to me being one of the co-founders of Women Ed. Women Ed is now a global grassroots gender equality network with a brilliant website, charity status, and quite a few books. So I'm really proud of that legacy. As a result of Women Ed starting, other grassroots groups then formed. We supported the launch of BAME Ed, LGBT Ed, Disability Ed. So therefore, the 9 protected characteristics, and there's kind of like virtual and in-person support and networking and community. However, by this point, I was a head teacher, and my deputy head teacher, Benny Carver, who's the co-founder of Diverse Ed, and I had a conversation about how she had to cut herself in four to go to those 4 different events and go to those 4 different communities. And what about the people with multiple characteristics, with an intersectional identity? And she kind of shared that with me quite candidly, and it really checked my privilege. I'm a cisgender, heterosexual, white, able-bodied woman. I hold quite a lot of the dominant identities, and although being a woman has sometimes frustrated me within the education system, the other things haven't impacted me. So this conversation with Benny led to me coming back with the idea of why don't we hold a space then? Why don't we create a space for cohesive, coherent conversation to bring all of those communities together underneath one roof, to think about people as whole humans. We think about children as whole people. We think about the adults in the sector as whole human beings as well. So 6-7 years ago now, we came up with the idea, and then we had our first event in Oxfordshire. A couple hundred people came on a Saturday. We had an annual event for 3 years, and that was whilst I was serving as a head teacher. And when I then left headship at the start of the pandemic, not because of the pandemic, it just happened to be the timing of the pandemic, and everything went virtual, we really grew quite exponentially in that period of time, because we could suddenly remove the barriers of geography and the barriers of time zones, and we had people connecting with us from all over the world. Moving forwards, that's then led to us having an international network of people who are passionate about DEIB, or if you are in North America or internationally, you might call it DEIJ, the B belonging, the J for justice. And we work with people in a number of different ways. So we hold a lot of conferences and a lot of events, and they are either in person in the UK or virtually globally. And we have a kind of annual calendar where we have certain things that happen in certain months throughout the school year. We then run programs. So we have a number of different leadership pathways. We have a really popular program called Leading DEIB in Schools, one for leading inclusive schools, one for leading a diverse curriculum. So we curate programs which are either recruited in an open format where anyone can book a place, or we have big clients like Multiple Academy Trusts and networks who might commission a cohort, and it's a closed cohort where 20 people from Cobus, for example, or 20 people from Multiple Academy Trusts are going to do a program with us. We then have standalone training sessions. So we do a lot of training in staff CPD sessions, staff twilight, staff inset days, and they can be in person or they can be virtual. So there's lots of ways you can work with us. We also have lots and lots of free assets and free resources. So we published a book 18 months ago. We've got a podcast, we've got a blog, and we've got a suite of DEI toolkit. So please look at the website. You're obviously already here because you found this video, but there's lots and lots there to help you and to help colleagues. So how do we frame our learning? I've said already about intersectionality, so thinking about how we support the needs of people who are marginalised in multiple ways. So in the Equality Act 2010, there are 9 protected characteristics. We want to be thinking about all those people simultaneously, holistically. We also really believe in this work being embedded within the culture. Thinking about how culturally intelligent we are as employers, how inclusive we are as schools, not just for the children, but for the adults as well. So a lot of the talks I do are around belonging, are around culture, and are around the kind of the leadership of this work and the strategy of this work. And what's the impact? Ultimately, we've had lots of brilliant testimonials and positive testimonials over the last few years. We bring people together. I think the connection and the collaboration, the community is really important. This work can often feel quite isolating, quite vulnerable, quite precarious, I guess, at times. So I think that support is a really important way of how we work. We help people grow in confidence, but we also bring challenge and curiosity about ways of working. So we have the 3 C's of our work. We talk about doing this work with consciousness, confidence, and competence. Being more conscious of who we are, but more conscious of other people's lived experience, more confident in doing the work, but more confident in challenging perhaps ways of working, and the competence of what are specific skills we need to develop in ourselves and others. So do have a look at the testimonials we have on the website. For each of the training options, there's examples of feedback from clients. You can also see all of my testimonials on my LinkedIn profile. I hope that gives you a feel for who we are, how we work. Please continue through the gallery to meet my brilliant team of associates. There are currently 8 of us and people with different lived experience and different expertise, so that we can really think about the kind of the bespoke personalised support that different schools, colleges and trusts need from us. And if you can't find what you're looking for, just reach out, drop us an email and I can do some signposting. Thank you for listening.